There will always be people who underestimate you, disregard you, or fail to respect your worth. Sometimes it's subtle, like being interrupted in conversations or ignored when you share an idea. Other times it's more direct, like belittling remarks or outright rudeness. The truth is, you can't control how people treat you, but you can absolutely control how you respond. That response is where your power lies. Handling disrespect isn't about lashing out or proving your value to those who refuse to see it. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that no one else's behavior can shake it. When someone disrespects you, your first instinct is often to react. Maybe you want to fire back with a sharp comment, raise your voice, or defend yourself right away. This is natural because disrespect touches our pride and challenges our sense of worth. But here's the truth: reacting emotionally is exactly what the other person wants. When you lose your calm, you give them power over your emotions. You hand over control of your peace of mind. The smartest way to deal with disrespect is to do the opposite: stay calm. Calmness is not weakness. In fact, it is one of the greatest forms of strength. When someone tries to provoke you and you don't give them the satisfaction of a reaction, you instantly rise above the situation. You show that you are not on the same level as the negativity being thrown at you. Instead of being dragged into their storm, you remain the calm in the center of it. That calmness speaks louder than any comeback you could make. Think about it: disrespectful people often thrive on attention. They want to see you break, get angry, or argue. Your emotional reaction feeds their ego because it shows they got to you. But when you remain composed, you deny them that satisfaction. They begin to realize their words or actions have no real power over you. And that realization frustrates them more than anything you could say. Remaining calm also allows you to think clearly. When emotions take over, your judgment is clouded. You might say or do things you'll regret later. But when you keep your composure, you give yourself time to process the situation and choose a response that actually benefits you. Sometimes the smartest response is silence. Sometimes it's a short and firm statement that ends the conversation. But you can only make that choice wisely when you are calm. Another benefit of staying calm is the impression it leaves on others. People are always observing, even when you don't realize it. If you lose your cool easily, others may view you as unstable or easy to manipulate. But if you consistently handle disrespect with calmness and grace, people begin to respect you more. They see you as someone who is unshakable, someone who commands respect without ever having to demand it. Your composure becomes your silent authority. Of course, staying calm doesn't mean you tolerate bad behavior. It doesn't mean you accept disrespect. It means you choose the high ground and decide how to deal with it on your terms. For example, instead of shouting back, you may firmly say, "I don't appreciate the way you're speaking to me," and then remove yourself from the situation. That way, you set a boundary without lowering yourself to their level. This principle applies everywhere: in personal relationships, at work, or even in public settings. Imagine a workplace where a colleague tries to embarrass you in front of others. If you respond angrily, the focus shifts to your reaction instead of their disrespect. But if you calmly and confidently hold your ground, everyone notices your strength. You turn the situation in your favor without saying much at all. Training yourself to stay calm takes practice. It requires emotional discipline. One simple technique is to pause before reacting. Take a deep breath, count to 3, and remind yourself that your peace is more valuable than proving a point. Over time, this habit becomes natural, and you'll find yourself less and less affected by the negativity of others. The ultimate victory over disrespect is not proving someone wrong or winning an argument. It's refusing to let them disturb your inner peace. Calmness is a shield. It protects your energy, preserves your dignity, and commands respect in ways anger never could. So the next time someone disrespects you, remember this: your calmness is your power. Don't give it away. When dealing with people who don't respect you, one of the smartest things you can do is set clear and firm boundaries. Disrespect often happens because people believe they can get away with it. If someone talks over you, belittles you, or constantly ignores your needs, it's because they think there are no real consequences. But boundaries are how you teach people how to treat you. They are not about pushing others away. They are about protecting yourself, respect, and setting the standard for how you expect to be treated. Boundaries are powerful because they communicate self-worth without needing long explanations. When you say no firmly, When you step back from toxic conversations, or when you refuse to tolerate rude behavior, you are sending a strong message. I respect myself too much to allow this. That message forces others to make a choice. Either they adjust their behavior to meet your standard, or they remove themselves from your life. Either way, you win because you have taken control of the situation. Many people struggle with setting boundaries because they fear rejection or conflict. They think that if they stand up for themselves, others might dislike them or call them difficult. But here's the truth. People who get upset when you set boundaries are usually the ones benefiting from your lack of them. Healthy people respect boundaries. Toxic people resist them. That resistance is not a sign you're wrong. It's proof that your boundary was necessary. Boundaries do not have to be loud or aggressive. They are about clarity and consistency. For example, if someone constantly interrupts you, a calm but firm statement like, "I wasn't finished speaking, let me complete my thought," sets the tone. If a colleague takes credit for your work, addressing it directly with facts and confidence is a boundary. If a friend constantly drains you with negativity, limiting your time with them is a boundary. It doesn't require anger, but it does require firmness. The key is to be consistent. A boundary only works if you enforce it. If you say, "I won't tolerate this behavior," but continue to allow it, you send mixed signals. People quickly learn whether your words carry weight or not. That's why boundaries are not about what you say once. They are about the standards you live by daily. Boundaries also create freedom. At first, it may feel uncomfortable to say no or to walk away from certain situations, but over time, you'll notice how much lighter your life becomes. When you stop tolerating disrespect, you open space for healthier, more respectful connections. You protect your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. Instead of being drained by people who don't value you, you surround yourself with those who do. Another powerful aspect of boundaries is how they inspire respect. Even people who may not like you will often respect you when they see you stand firm. Weakness invites more disrespect, but firmness earns recognition. Think of leaders, role models, or people you admire. They all have strong boundaries. They don't allow just anyone to walk over them. They decide what they will accept, and others adjust accordingly. It's important to remember that setting boundaries is not selfish. In fact, it's one of the healthiest things you can do for yourself and those around you. When you respect your own limits, you show others what respect looks like. You create a standard of interaction that encourages healthier communication. People may test you, but if you remain firm, they will learn quickly where you draw the line. So the next time someone disrespects you, don't stay silent out of fear. Don't allow their behavior to continue unchecked. Decide what you will and will not tolerate, express it clearly, and stand by it. Boundaries are not walls that keep people out. They are doors that only open for those who respect you. And when you master the art of setting them, you'll find that the people who remain in your life are those who truly value and respect who you are. When dealing with people who don't respect you, one of the most important skills you can master is the ability to choose your battles wisely. Not every act of disrespect requires a response. Not every rude comment deserves your energy. Sometimes silence speaks louder than confrontation. The real strength lies in knowing when to engage and when to walk away. Disrespectful people often thrive on reaction. They say things to provoke you, push your buttons, or drag you into arguments. If you react to everything, you end up exhausting yourself and playing their game. But when you choose your battles carefully, you maintain control. You show that not everyone or everything is worth your time. This doesn't mean you ignore all disrespect. It means you evaluate the situation and decide whether responding will actually benefit you. Think of your energy as a currency. Every reaction, every argument, every defense you make is like spending that currency. If you spend it on people who don't matter, you'll have nothing left for the people and goals that truly deserve your energy. But if you save it for the right moments, the ones that actually affect your dignity, your career, or your personal relationships, you ensure that your responses carry weight. Choosing your battles wisely also protects your peace of mind. Constantly fighting every small act of disrespect will leave you drained, bitter, and always on edge. But when you let go of the small things, you create space for calmness and clarity. You remind yourself that not every opinion matters, not every insult is valid, and not every voice deserves your attention. This mindset frees you from being controlled by negativity. For example, imagine someone makes a sarcastic remark about you in a group setting. You could fire back, argue, or try to prove yourself, but what would it accomplish? Most of the time, the person wants attention. By ignoring them, you take away their power. But if someone repeatedly undermines you at work, affecting your reputation or opportunities, then that is a battle worth addressing. The key is discernment, asking yourself, is this worth my time? Will responding change the situation for the better? Another reason to choose your battles wisely is that it makes your words more powerful. If you confront every minor disrespect, people may stop taking you seriously. But if you rarely engage and only speak up when it truly matters, your voice carries weight. Others will notice that when you do respond, it's because the situation is important. This makes your presence stronger, your boundaries clearer, and your respect greater. Learning to walk away is also a sign of strength, not weakness. Many people think ignoring disrespect means you're letting someone win, but in reality, walking away often shows more power than fighting back. It proves that you're too focused, too confident, and too secure to be bothered by someone's attempt to drag you down. Walking away says, I won't play your game. That refusal to engage is in itself a victory. Choosing battles wisely also ties into emotional intelligence. It requires self-awareness, patience, and the ability to see the bigger picture. Instead of reacting in the heat of the moment, you pause and consider the outcome. You think long-term, asking yourself, how will this affect me tomorrow, next week, or next year? Many times the answer will be clear. The situation isn't worth your energy. Ultimately, choosing your battles wisely is about protecting your energy, your time, and your dignity. It's about focusing only on what truly matters and letting go of the rest. When you stop fighting every insult and every petty remark, you rise above the noise. You gain respect not by proving yourself in every argument, but by showing that you are selective, strategic, and in control. The smartest warriors don't fight every battle, they fight the battles that matter. And in life, the same rule applies. Your power grows not when you react to everything, but when you reserve your strength for what truly deserves it. One of the smartest ways to handle people who don't respect you is not by demanding their respect, but by leading through example, by living with self-respect so consistently that others cannot ignore it. Respect is not something you beg for. It is something you command through your actions, your presence, and the way you treat yourself. When people see you carrying yourself with dignity, confidence, and integrity, they are forced to recognize your strength, even if they don't like you. Self-respect is the foundation of all respect. If you don't respect yourself, it becomes almost impossible to expect others to respect you. People pick up on how you view yourself. If you constantly put yourself down, accept mistreatment, or tolerate disrespectful behavior, you send the message that you are willing to settle for less. But when you lead with self-respect, you create a standard that others must rise to if they want to be in your space. Leading by example means showing through your behavior what respect looks like. If you treat others with courtesy, fairness, and dignity, even when they don't always deserve it, you demonstrate that respect is your standard, not something you give only when convenient. This doesn't mean being a pushover, it means holding yourself to a higher level of integrity. People may still test you, but they cannot deny the consistency of your character. For example, in a workplace, imagine two colleagues are treated unfairly. One responds with anger, gossip, and negativity, while the other remains calm, addresses the issue professionally, and continues to work with excellence. Who do you think earns more long-term respect? The second one. Not because they tolerated mistreatment, but because they showed strength and dignity in their response. This is the power of leading by example. It inspires respect without needing to demand it. Self-respect also shows in how you prioritize yourself. If you constantly sacrifice your needs to please others, you teach people that your time and energy have little value. But if you set boundaries, protect your peace, and take care of your well-being, you send the message that your life has worth. Others notice this and adjust accordingly. Even those who dislike you will hesitate to cross you, because your self-respect makes it clear you will not tolerate disrespect. Another important part of leading by example is consistency. Respect is not a mask you put on when convenient, it's a lifestyle. If you treat some people with dignity but look down on others, your example loses power. True self-respect shows in how you treat everyone from the CEO to the janitor, from your closest friend to a stranger on the street. People watch these small actions and they shape the reputation you carry. When you lead with self-respect, you also inspire others. Many people struggle with boundaries, confidence, or valuing themselves. When they see you walking with quiet strength, they are encouraged to do the same. You become a role model, not through words, but through the way you live. That influence extends far beyond handling disrespect. It changes the culture around you. It's important to remember that leading by example doesn't mean being perfect. It means being intentional. It means showing up with integrity even when it's difficult. It means refusing to stoop to the level of those who try to belittle you. Every time you walk away from drama, every time you respond with grace instead of anger, every time you enforce your boundaries with confidence, you are teaching others how to treat you and reminding yourself of your worth. In the end, people may not always like you, but they will respect you when you respect yourself, and those who refuse to give you respect will often distance themselves because they cannot survive in an environment where dignity and self-worth are the standard. That's the beauty of leading by example. You don't have to chase respect. You embody it, and the world adjusts around you. When it comes to handling people who don't respect you, one of the smartest moves you can make is to surround yourself with positive influences. Who you spend time with shapes how you feel, how you think, and how you see yourself. If your environment is filled with people who belittle you, ignore your value, or constantly drain your energy, it becomes harder to stay confident and strong. But when you intentionally build a circle of people who uplift, encourage, and respect you, the noise of disrespect loses its power. Human beings are deeply influenced by their surroundings. Imagine spending your days with people who constantly criticize you or make you feel small. Even if you know your worth, over time those voices can wear you down. They create self-doubt and insecurity. But now imagine being around people who believe in you, celebrate your growth, and remind you of your strengths. That environment builds confidence, resilience, and inner peace. This is why choosing your circle is so important. It directly affects how you handle disrespect when it comes your way. Positive influences don't necessarily mean people who agree with you all the time. True positivity comes from those who challenge you to grow, but in a way that is respectful and constructive. These are the people who push you forward, not pull you down. They respect your boundaries, value your time, and see your worth even when others fail to. With people like this around you, the disrespect you encounter elsewhere feels less significant because you are constantly reminded that it does not define you. Surrounding yourself with positive influences also teaches you what healthy respect looks like. If all you've known are toxic dynamics, you may have accepted disrespect as normal. But when you experience genuine respect, kindness, and encouragement from the right people, you begin to realize how wrong the negative treatment was. This awareness strengthens your ability to set higher standards and walk away from those who don't treat you well. It's also important to realize that your environment affects your energy. Negative people drain it, positive people recharge it. If every time you walk away from someone, you feel exhausted, anxious, or less confident, that's a sign they're not the right influence. But if you leave a conversation feeling inspired, hopeful, or stronger, that's the kind of energy you should seek more of. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it's necessary for growth. Sometimes, surrounding yourself with positive influences means making tough choices. It might mean limiting time with toxic relatives, stepping back from draining friendships, or cutting ties with people who refuse to respect you. This isn't easy, but it's essential. You can't invite peace into your life if you keep opening the door to chaos. Remember, you are not obligated to keep people in your life just because they've been there a long time. Time doesn't equal respect, behavior does. On the other hand, you can also intentionally add positive influences to your life. This could be supportive friends, mentors, coaches, or communities of like-minded people. Even books, podcasts, or motivational content can serve as positive influences if they feed your mind with strength and inspiration. In today's world, you can choose what voices you allow into your headspace. Make sure those voices remind you of your worth, not question it. The more you surround yourself with positivity, the stronger you become against negativity. When your life is filled with encouragement and respect, the occasional disrespect from others won't shake you. It will feel like background noise. You'll have a solid foundation reminding you that you are valued, appreciated, and respected, regardless of what a few people may think. At the end of the day, you don't have to fight for respect in a toxic environment. You can choose to walk into a healthier one. By surrounding yourself with positive influences, you create a shield of strength around you. You remind yourself daily of your value. And with that kind of support, handling people who don't respect you becomes much easier because you'll always know their negativity does not define you. When dealing with people who don't respect you, the most powerful truth you must remember is this: respect starts within you. Before anyone else can see your worth, you must see it yourself. Before anyone else can treat you with dignity, you must treat yourself with dignity. The way you think about yourself, speak to yourself, and carry yourself sets the standard for how others will treat you. Self-respect is not about arrogance or superiority. It is about knowing your value without needing constant validation. When you respect yourself, you no longer chase after people's approval. You don't beg for kindness or settle for less than you deserve. Instead, you live with a quiet confidence that radiates in every interaction. That inner strength makes it clear to others you know who you are and you won't accept less than respect. Think of it this way: if you constantly put yourself down, others will believe it's acceptable to do the same. If you tolerate repeated disrespect, you silently teach others that it's okay to mistreat you. But when you honor your own needs, speak with confidence, and walk away from toxic behavior, you teach others that you will not compromise your dignity. People respond to the standard you set. If you set it low, they'll step over it. If you set it high, they'll have to rise to meet it or fall away. Respecting yourself begins with the small choices you make daily. It's in how you talk to yourself in the mirror. It's in the way you manage your time and who you give your energy to. It's in the decisions you make about your health, your goals, and your boundaries. Every choice communicates something about how much you value yourself. Over time, these small actions build an unshakable foundation of self-respect. Another important aspect of self-respect is confidence. Confidence is not about being the loudest person in the room. It's about being secure in your own skin. When you walk with confidence, people notice. Even those who don't like you, they may not agree with you, but they will recognize your strength. Confidence commands attention and often forces respect without a single word spoken. It's also essential to remember that self-respect means refusing to accept toxic behavior, no matter who it comes from. Family, friends, coworkers, it doesn't matter. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, respecting yourself means stepping back, creating distance, or even cutting ties if necessary. This can be one of the hardest decisions you'll make, but it's also one of the most powerful. When you remove what dishonors you, you create space for what truly values you. Respecting yourself also means not betraying your own principles. Many people lose respect for themselves when they constantly compromise their values to please others. But when you stand firm in your beliefs, when you honor your word and live with integrity, you strengthen your own self-image. And once you respect yourself deeply, others sense it. Even those who wish to disrespect you will struggle because self-respect creates a natural barrier that shields you. Of course, building self-respect takes time. If you've been disrespected often, you may start believing those negative voices. But the process begins with changing your inner dialogue. Start affirming your worth. Start reminding yourself of your strengths instead of focusing on your flaws. Start setting small boundaries and following through. Each step you take towards self-respect makes you stronger and less affected by the disrespect of others. At the end of the day, you cannot control how others see you, but you can control how you see yourself. And when you respect yourself fully, something amazing happens. Either people will rise to treat you the way you deserve, or they will distance themselves. Either way, you win because your worth remains intact. So remember, respect doesn't come from outside approval, titles, or popularity. It begins with you. It grows stronger every time you honor yourself, stand firm in your values, and refuse to settle for less than dignity. When you master self-respect, no amount of disrespect can shake you because you know deep down that your value is not up for negotiation.